Welcome back to FP Executive. We're here with Stewart Cawthray, a senior IT security architect with IBM. Stewart, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Obviously, mobile devices are a staple in almost any organization now, but we're getting beyond the sort of the corporate BlackBerry, and now you're starting to see executives and employees want to carry things like iPads, they want iPhones, they want Android devices, which maybe weren't necessarily conceived with security being the top priority. If I'm an IT manager or a CIO and I have employees and executives who want to use these things, how should I go about kind of implementing them into my architecture to make sure that everything stays safe?
Well, I would take sort of the BlackBerry as an example, where BlackBerry focused on corporate worlds, where corporate required a centralized command and control. The ability to control what the end users could do with the device. Can they use the phone? Can they use the video camera? What types of information can they plug in external memory into the device? The ability to, if I need to, remotely wipe all the data off that device if it's lost or stolen. BlackBerry very early on pioneered that. But what they suffered with was they lost some of the functionality which people are seeing in the iPhones and the Windows Phone 7 and the iPads flexibility because they needed the command and control. CIOs who want to provide their users the functionality that are in these newer smartphones and iPads and tablets of that nature need to look at sort of the types of things that were done in BlackBerry to do that control and apply additional software, different technology to control that. Have the ability to know what a user can do on that device, what data is being copied to and from the device. The biggest thing that the CIOs can do is structure a solid security awareness policy and awareness training to their end users about those devices and what risks they do present, so that they, as the user of the device, know not to use it for carrying sensitive data around, not to use it for information, not to leave it unlocked in a location where it could be easily stolen. They can't think of it as a commodity that, oh, it's gone, I'll just buy another one. Well, because if you've got all your financial data on your iPad because you were taking it to the next board meeting and it gets stolen, all of your financial data is now in somebody else's hands. Oh,
it's a nightmare. I'm sure it keeps a lot of CIOs up at night. One of the more common stories that we come across is the loss of a USB key that has a bunch of data on it, whether it's health records or financial records. The USB key is a really easy way to move data around. Is there a better way for organizations to maybe either do away with the USB key or to move data around in a more secure way?
The easiest way, and it's been around for some time, it's just USB keys can be encrypted. And if you know you're taking the data from one corporate system to another and you need to use a USB key, have that key encrypted so that the computers that it plugs into have to know the encryption key to decrypt it before they can read it. That way, if the key is lost in transit somewhere, it's very difficult and very expensive for someone. I'm not going to say they can't read it, but the cost and expense of trying to crack the encryption codes is very difficult.
Let's shift the conversation to risk management for a minute. Obviously, this is becoming a bigger consideration all the time for executives. What advice would you give to a company looking to improve its security posture?
Well, obviously, as risk management's been in business for a long time, but with the increase of technology being such an underlying foundation of what's supporting the business, IT risk in particular is increasing. So many IT managers are seeing their responsibilities related to risk increasing. They're also seeing funding increases related to risk management. But one of the struggles they have is they understand what risks are out there. They understand what they need to do to mitigate them, but they struggle often in actually implementing or applying those changes because in often cases they are huge. They're widespread. They cross the entire organization. Sometimes they cross multiple lines of business. Finding ownership is a struggle. And the best advice I can give, really, is start small. Don't throw your hands up in the air and say, I can't do anything about it, it's too big. Pick something small. Pick a use case. Go out and define the different use cases of what you need to do. So if you're a bank and you want to control data loss from your trading floor, well, don't look at data loss across your entire organization. Go look at the trading floor and say, my use case is I can't let my traders leak stock trade data or information prior to public offerings. Come up with technologies, processes, and techniques to address that. The lessons you learn out of implementing that, you can then apply as you move it on to other areas. So, take one piece of pie at a time as opposed to the whole pie. You'll find much more success moving that way.
That's great. Stuart, thanks very much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you. And you can check out more Smart Shift videos at financialpost.com. For the Financial Post and FP Executive, I'm Matt Hartley.